Well, hello, friends and neighbors. Welcome to the end of 2018 and what is always a favorite episode of mine to watch of other people in whiskey, other whiskey tubers out there in the whiskey fabric, and certainly a favorite of mine to shoot. So this is the best whiskeys of 2018 that I have tasted and reviewed. Stick around. Okay, thanks for sticking through the break. This year, I've got the same 6 categories. Wait, I think I only had 5 categories last year, so I've added another one. So I've got 6 categories I'm going to look at. And just if you're new to me or the channel, what this is are the best whiskeys of 2018 that I have had the pleasure of owning a bottle, of opening that up, of drinking it, sharing it, and reviewing it on the channel. With one exception. And just to keep it interesting for me as well as you, I've decided to pour just a little bit of these fantastic whiskeys. So the first category, I'm going to reverse them exactly from last year because of what I want to end with. So the first one was actually a tough category for me, and this is the rye of the year. So probably my pick isn't going to be a huge surprise. Because it is, in fact, the Lot 40 cask strength, but this year's expression. And I've poured a little bit of it here. This still has the Lot 40 bold but clean nose. It's only 11 years this year, and it's bottled at 58.4, a little stronger than last year's cask strength, but it's delicious rye. This was the exception of what's coming. This is the only one that you won't have seen a review of mine yet because the review is coming. To give it away, this is lovely. It's a little more caramel, a little less fruity, a little less alive than the previous one, but it's still just a fantastic rye. Priced a little too high for me, but it's definitely a lovely whiskey. And the reason, nice, bold, oaky. And this one, because I haven't given a review and because it's not quite as powerful as I'd like, I have a runner-up in this category, and that actually is the Sazerac rye. This is a straight rye from the US, bottled at 45%. And this one, for me, much more affordable. It sits about $45 Canadian, and it's lively, it's full of cinnamon, it's a pleasure to drink, and it's definitely a runner-up rye for me. Next category is Canadian. This one was a knockout from when I had it. It was a gift from my brother-in-law. That bottle's crushed, but I have another one. My Canadian of the year is Dissertation. Dissertation is the sum total of Dr. Don Livermore, master blender at here in Walker. He did experiments with oak, char levels, age, that kind of stuff. And then he took all his work and he put together this beautiful rye. Well, yeah, I called it a rye. It's labeled as Canadian whiskey. It's 46.1%. I believe the rye in here, though, is about 87%. So it's basically another rye, but it definitely has a lot of Canadian just whiskey notes to it. And it's my Canadian of the year. Now I'm going to move quickly to bourbon. This was a tough category for me. I've had quite a few really good bourbons, but this one stood out. This one is a private barrel. So this is a private stock bourbon whiskey from Wyoming. Wyoming whiskey. This one's bottled at 53.3. It's the second release for the Kensington Wine Market, and it's my second pour of the show. And it's lovely. It's got, I think, a high wheat in this one. So it's got your corn and malted barley, but I think it's got as much as 20% wheat. Oh, very full in the mouth. Lovely from that buttered popcorn caramel. But still that charred oak is coming through. You know, these guys are doing good things. Actually, they were bought by, not bought by, that would be incorrect. I think it's even just a minority share, but the Edrington Group, The people that are behind Macallan, Highland Park, the Glenrothes, a few other groups in there, have now a stake in Wyoming whiskey. And I am very excited with that because clearly the wood management of Macallan, the flavor, like I just think being a part of that group will help Wyoming go from, this is excellent bourbon and is my bourbon pick of 2018. But I think they're going to take it even further. Now, because this is a private bottling and tough to get, just like I had a runner-up with my Rye of the Year, I've got another one that really surprised me, even though it's very, very, very common, and I'm sure all of you have had it. This is just simply Rare Breed. You know, I managed to pick this up for a steal. I should do prices, right? So this Rye is priced a little too high these days. It's around $100. The Sazerac was $45. Dissertation, if you can still get it in Ontario, do. It's somewhere around that $65 mark. This is, in the $90s, which is tough for Canadians quite a bit. I got this for $30. Now it normally sits at about $45, $50. But this Rare Breed is just really, really tasty. This is also 58.4. You can tell I like high proof bourbons. This is 53. This is 58. And even though this is very common, I really like it. It's very tasty. And this year, as the first year I've opened it up, so it's easily my runner-up bourbon. Now I'm going to move to Irish. And, it was tough for me to find just the right Irish this year. I've had a lot of good, but not exceptional Irish. Certainly nothing like Redbreast Cask last year. But this Irish is excellent. And it was another gift. This is Yellow Spot. I reviewed it quite recently. This one is the 12-year-old. What's unique is that it's aged not just in ex-bourbon and then ex-Oloroso sherry. It's got that ex-Malaga wine finish in it, which this is just a silky smooth. It's bottled at 46%. I just find it, silky smooth, but with lots of good flavor, very enjoyable, and is my Irish pick of the year. I'm moving pretty quick, actually. The next one, this is where I went. So last year I had a Rye, a Canadian, a Bourbon, and an Irish, and then I had a single Scotch, I think. And now I've split Scotch into two. I've had a number of excellent Scotch whiskies this year, and I just felt, to me, they're really almost polarizing, especially as I share and then I read comments and I kind of get back and forth with you guys. And so I split this into two categories. So my first Scotch of the year is a non-peated, right? And this one is the Glendronach. It's a single barrel. This one is an 11-year-old. It was distilled in 2003, bottled in 2014. It was put away in this at 54.8%, spent its whole life in PX or Pedro Jimenez sherry. I opened it up the night of my father's funeral. The night my father passed away. And there's probably some emotion, but there's a ton of flavor. If you like those deep red fruits, but still, this one's got, actually for a Scotch, it's still got quite a bit of vanilla and that caramel toffee in there as well. The wood tastes almost a bit older than 11 years. Like if someone would have poured me this and told me it was like an 18-year-old, I'm not saying it's got the same refinement as an 18. It's still a bit brash and a bit rough, but there's some of that wood quality, which is bizarre because I know this is a single cask 11 years, not even a blend that's got some of that old that I'm tasting. Anyways, excellent wood notes, fantastic fruit notes. This is a knockout. Now, it's a knockout, but you can see I've got like a private barrel, so I picked another runner-up. And then this is, a single cask. You're not likely to find it. So I thought I'd throw into this category just a surprise runaway everyday Scotch. And for me, that's this Deanston. This Deanston Highland, unchill filtered, uncolored, bottled at 46%. Now, this is their NAS statement. It's not even their 12-year-old, but this, I got it 25% off, but it sits on the shelf at like $42 in my area, and it is bright and lively and full of flavor and one that I would enjoy anytime. So, and super affordable. So I thought I'll put that as my runner-up. So we've come to it. Rye, Canadian, Irish, Rye, Canadian, American bourbon, Irish, and Scotch. And now a peated Scotch. And possibly for me, my whiskey of the year, if I were to pick one. And that would be this Lagavulin 12-year-old. This is the 2016 edition. Another gift. You can tell that I am blessed with good friends and colleagues. This was a gift from some people I work with. And as I said, 2016, bottled at 57.7%. This is their 12-year-old, and I wanted to pour it while I was talking about it. But I didn't pour it earlier, and anybody who's had Lagavulin, Laphroaig, Ardbeg, anything big and peaty and would know why. And that's because now that I've poured it, it's way over here in this glass, I can already smell it. It's already come into the room. It's already going to be permeating. And so because I wanted to taste the rye and the bourbon, I didn't want to pour it till now. But this is a wonderful, if you like peat. If you don't like peat, I would consider any of these others here, right? They're all excellent whiskeys. But if you like peat, happens to be probably the most, no, not probably, it's the most costly sitting here, but as I said, it was a gift. But in this case, if you're looking to save up for something and you love peat and bold, strong whiskey, boy, you can't go wrong with this one. Cheers and happy end of 2018. I'm recording this on the 29th. Big shout out to Brad. Happy birthday. Wish you were here. We could have shot a whole different format and we would have tasted our way through every one of them and given more thoughts. Cheers, guys. Oh, you know, a good book, a glass of this. I don't even need a real fire. Just fantastic. Thank you for joining me. I think it has been a fun and exciting year here on the channel. It's been a crazy roller coaster for me personally with work and some other personal things that have happened. But I've appreciated all the friendships that I've been able to make through YouTube, through all the comments happening. And I wish all of you a fantastic new year and a great 2019. You guys take care.